Amy thought she knew is about to be shattered. For years, she grieved, she healed, and she built a future for herself and Lindy without Ty Borden. But what if the past was never truly gone? What if the man she mourned wasn't lost forever? As Heartland Season 19 begins, a shocking revelation turns Amy's world upside down. Ty is back, but his return is not the fairy tale reunion anyone imagined. It's complicated, it's painful, and it will push Amy to her breaking point. Can she forgive him? Can Lindy accept the father she never got to know? And most importantly, why did Ty stay away for so long? Heartland Season 19 opens with Amy Fleming doing what she does best, working with horses. The ranch is peaceful, the sun rising over the rolling fields, and for a brief moment, life feels normal. Lindy, now older, is riding beside her mother, their bond stronger than ever. Jack watches from the porch, proud of the legacy they've built despite all the hardships. But beneath the calm, something is shifting. A storm is coming, and Amy has no idea how much her life is about to change. It happens in an instant. A truck pulls up the long dirt road, its tires kicking up dust. Amy doesn't recognize the vehicle at first. She wipes her hands, expecting a new client or an unexpected visitor. But when the door opens and a man steps out, time stops. Ty Borden. For a split second, Amy's brain refuses to process what she's seeing. Her heart pounds, her breath catches in her throat. This isn't possible. Ty is gone. She buried him, grieved him, and spent years learning how to live without him. And yet, there he is, standing on the gravel driveway, looking at her with the same piercing eyes she once knew so well. He's older, rougher, and there's something unreadable in his expression. Jack steps forward instinctively, his face hardening. Lou, who had just come outside, gasps. Tim freezes, unable to comprehend what's happening. And then there's Lindy. She stares at the stranger, sensing the tension in the air, but not fully understanding why her mother looks like she's seen a ghost. Amy doesn't move. She doesn't speak. Everything inside her screams that this is wrong, that it can't be real. But then Ty speaks. His voice is different, deeper, heavier with years of silence. Amy. And with that one word, the floodgates open. She staggers back as if she's been struck. Memories crash over her. The life they had, the love they shared, the day she lost him. But if he's here, if he's standing in front of her now, then everything she believed was a lie. Jack's voice is sharp, filled with controlled fury. What the hell is going on? Ty doesn't answer right away. His jaw clenches, and there's something haunted in his eyes. Then he looks at Amy again, his voice raw. I never wanted to leave, but I had no choice. The words cut through the air like a blade, but they only bring more confusion. Amy shakes her head, anger rising through the shock. No choice? We thought you were dead, Ty. I mourned you. Lindy. Her voice breaks, the pain too much to contain. Ty's eyes flick to Lindy, and for the first time, his expression cracks. The little girl looks up at him, confused and cautious. She doesn't recognize him. How could she? He wasn't there to watch her grow. Amy's hands curl into fists. Her whole body trembles with a mixture of fury, grief, and disbelief. This is the moment she dreamt of for years, but not like this. Not with unanswered questions and a man who disappeared without a trace. Jack steps between them, his voice dangerously calm. You'd better start explaining yourself, son, because right now, none of this makes sense. Ty looks around at the family he left behind, at the home he thought he might never see again. He takes a deep breath, and when he speaks, his voice is filled with something dark, something heavy. There's a lot you don't know, a lot I can't explain. But I swear to you, I never meant to stay away. Amy's heart clenches. She wants to believe him, wants to understand. But how do you forgive someone who let you believe they were gone forever? And even worse, what if bringing him back means putting everything she loves in danger? Silence grips Heartland as everyone waits for answers. But Ty hesitates. His eyes flick between Amy and Jack, then to Lindy, who hides slightly behind her mother's leg, unsure of what to make of the man who looks at her with a mix of pain and longing. Amy's heart pounds in her chest, torn between the disbelief that he's standing right in front of her and the raw fury of knowing he let her believe he was dead. Every emotion she buried for years comes roaring back, but she refuses to let them control her. Her voice is sharp when she finally speaks. You need to start talking. Now. Ty's jaw tightens, and for the first time, she notices how much he's changed. His face is more rugged, lines of exhaustion and hardship etched into his skin. There's a weight on his shoulders, something deeper than just guilt. It wasn't safe for me to come back, he finally says, voice heavy with regret. Not for you, not for Lindy. The words hit Amy like a slap. Not safe? What does that even mean? That's not an answer, Ty, Jack interjects, his protective instincts surging. You've got about 10 seconds before I drag you off this property myself. The old rancher has always treated Ty like a son, but right now, all he sees is a man who abandoned his family without a trace. Ty exhales sharply, dragging a hand through his hair. I was trying to protect you, all of you. The explanation only fuels Amy's anger. Protect us from what? She demands, her voice rising. You left me to raise our daughter alone, Ty. You let me grieve for you? Do you have any idea what that did to me? To Lindy? Her voice breaks on her daughter's name, and for the first time, she sees Ty flinch. I didn't have a choice, he says, his voice raw. There were people, dangerous people, who would have come after you if they knew I was alive. Amy shakes her head in disbelief. What people? What are you talking about? Nothing makes sense. This isn't just about some tragic accident or a misunderstanding. There's something bigger at play. Something that stole Ty away and forced him to stay hidden all these years. Ty takes a deep breath, glancing around as if making sure they're alone. It started after that last trip I took for the wildlife rescue program, he begins. I got involved with the wrong people without even realizing it. I was trying to help, but I ended up in something way over my head. He hesitates, the memories darkening his expression. When I realized how bad it was, I tried to walk away, but it was too late. They knew about you, about Lindy. Amy's breath catches, fear creeping in despite her anger. This isn't the explanation she expected. Who are they? She asks, barely above a whisper. Ty looks away, his jaw tightening. People who don't let go of loose ends. The weight of his words sinks into Amy's chest like a stone. She wants to believe this is some kind of mistake, that there's a simple answer that makes everything right again. But deep down, she knows that's not the case. Ty wouldn't have stayed away unless he truly believed it was necessary. But that doesn't erase the years of pain, the lonely nights, the way she had to rebuild herself from the ground up. So what changed? Lou asks, her voice cutting through the thick tension. Why are you back now? Ty finally looks Amy in the eyes. Because it's over. The people who threatened me, they're gone. I'm free to come home. The words should bring relief, but instead, they leave a hollow ache in Amy's chest. Free to come home? As if it were that simple. He left behind a shattered family, a daughter who never knew him, and a woman who spent years trying to heal from his loss. You don't just get to walk back in and expect everything to be the same, she says, her voice trembling. You broke me, Ty. You broke us. For the first time, Ty looks truly shaken. I know, he admits, his voice barely above a whisper. And I don't expect you to forgive me, but I had to come back. I had to try. Amy doesn't know what to say. Her heart aches with the love she thought was buried, but the pain of his absence is still fresh, still raw. Lindy looks up at her mother, confusion in her innocent eyes. Mommy, who is he? The question slices through the moment like a knife. Amy swallows hard, her throat tight. She crouches down, gently brushing Lindy's hair back. Sweetheart, this is your daddy. Lindy's brows furrow, her little hands gripping Amy's arm. But I don't know him. The quiet confession is the final blow to Ty's already breaking heart. He crouches down, eyes glistening. I know, sweetheart, he says softly, but I would really like to get to know you if that's okay. Lindy hesitates, gripping Amy's sleeve a little tighter, looking up at her mother for reassurance. Amy's heart twists. This is the moment she always feared. Lindy meeting the father she never had, and not knowing what to do with him. Jack steps forward, his voice firm but not unkind. You've got a lot to prove, son, and I mean a lot. Ty nods, accepting the unspoken challenge. He knows this isn't going to be easy. Amy doesn't know if she can ever forgive him. Lindy doesn't know him. The life he left behind has moved on without him. But one thing is certain, Ty's return has changed everything, and nothing will ever be the same again. Amy's world is spinning. The man she mourned, the man she forced herself to let go of, is standing right in front of her, asking for another chance. But how can she just forget the years of pain? How can she erase the nights spent crying herself to sleep? The days when she had to be strong for Lindy, pretending everything was okay, when deep down she was breaking? The storm inside her is relentless. A part of her still loves Ty. How could she not? He was her best friend, her partner, the father of her child. But another part of her, the one that has spent years building a new life without him, is screaming at her to walk away, to protect herself and Lindy from more heartache. Ty can see it in her eyes, the war she's fighting within herself. And he knows he has no right to expect anything from her, but that doesn't stop the ache in his chest, the desperate need to explain, to make things right. Amy, I know you don't owe me anything, he says, voice thick with emotion. I know I don't deserve your trust, but I need you to know that leaving you was the hardest thing I've ever done. I thought about you and Lindy every single day. And I swear, if there had been any other way... Amy cuts him off, her hands trembling. But there wasn't, was there? Her voice is sharp, filled with a mixture of anger and sorrow. You made a choice, Ty, and that choice left me alone to pick up the pieces. She gestures toward Lindy, who watches the exchange with wide, curious eyes. It left her without a father. The words are like daggers to Ty's heart. He lowers his head, shame washing over him. I know, he whispers, and I'll never forgive myself for it. Jack watches the scene unfold, his expression unreadable. He's always been a man of few words, but when he speaks, his voice carries the weight of years of wisdom and experience. Ty, you say you had no choice, but the way I see it, choices always come with consequences. And this one, it tore this family apart. The words hang in the air like a heavy fog. Amy crosses her arms, trying to steady herself. So, what now? She asks, voice laced with exhaustion. You just expect us to pick up where we left off? Ty shakes his head. Number, I know things can't just go back to the way they were, but I want to be here, Amy. For you. For Lindy. I want to prove to both of you that I'm not going anywhere this time. Amy lets out a shaky breath, her emotions threatening to overwhelm her. She wants to believe him, desperately. But trust isn't something that can just be handed back. It has to be earned. And right now, she doesn't even know if she's ready to let him try. I don't know if I can do this, she admits, her voice barely above a whisper. I don't know if I can trust you again. Ty steps closer, but he stops just short of reaching for her. Then let me prove to you that you can. His voice is steady, filled with determination. I'll do whatever it takes. Before Amy can respond, Lou steps in, her protective instincts kicking in. Ty, this isn't just about you and Amy, she says firmly. Lindy is in the middle of this. She doesn't know you, and she doesn't understand what's happening. You can't just walk in and expect to be her father overnight. Ty nods, fully aware of the uphill battle he's facing. I know, and I don't expect her to accept me right away. But I need to try. I need to show her that I'm here for her. Lou exhales, glancing at Amy. This isn't something that can be decided overnight. Amy stares at Ty, her emotions swirling like a storm inside her. The love she once had for him still lingers, but so does the pain of his betrayal. She doesn't know if she can forgive him. She doesn't know if she can open herself up to that kind of heartbreak again. But one thing is clear, Ty's return has changed everything. And whether she's ready or not, she has to figure out what that means for her, for Lindy, and for the life she's fought so hard to rebuild. The weight of the past hangs between them like an unspoken truth. Ty stands at the edge of a life he once knew, staring into the eyes of the woman he never stopped loving and the daughter he barely knows. But love alone won't fix what's broken. He understands that now. Words aren't enough. Promises aren't enough. If he wants a place in their lives, he'll have to fight for it. Lindy, innocent and full of curiosity, watches him with uncertainty. She's heard stories of her father, seen the pictures, felt his absence like a shadow looming over her childhood. And now, suddenly, he's here, standing before her like a stranger with a familiar face. She clings to Amy's hand, unsure of what to do. Ty kneels, trying to meet her at her level. "Hey, Lindy," he says gently, his voice soft but filled with emotion. "I've missed you so much." But she doesn't respond. She just stares at him, searching his face as if trying to understand why he left, why he's back, and if he's going to leave again. Amy feels the tension radiating between them. Her heart aches for Lindy, for the confusion and emotion she must be feeling. She knows what it's like to lose a father, to long for something that was ripped away too soon. And she won't let Lindy go through that pain again. "She doesn't know you," Amy finally says, her voice steady but guarded. "You can't expect her to just accept this overnight." Ty nods, pain flashing in his eyes. "I know, but I'm not going anywhere. I want to be part of her life, however long it takes." Jack, who has been standing quietly observing the exchange, finally speaks. "Ty, you have a long road ahead of you," he says, his voice firm but not unkind. "You can't undo the past, but if you want a future with your family, you're going to have to prove it. Not just to Amy, not just to Lindy, but to all of us." The challenge in his words is clear. Jack was always a father figure to Ty, and now, after everything, he's making it known that trust won't be given freely. Ty glances back at Amy, his heart pounding. "I'll do whatever it takes," he says again, the conviction in his voice unwavering. But Amy doesn't respond. She just looks at him, eyes filled with emotions too complex to name. Then, without another word, she takes Lindy's hand and walks away. Ty exhales, his chest tightening. He knew this wouldn't be easy, but watching Amy walk away, feeling the distance between them, it's harder than he imagined. But he refuses to give up. He lost them once. He won't lose them again. Over the next few days, Ty tries to find his place at Heartland again. It isn't just Amy who's hesitant. Everyone is. Lou, ever the protective sister, watches him with a mix of skepticism and concern. Tim, who has always had a complicated relationship with him, keeps his distance. Even the ranch feels different, as if the time he was gone left a permanent mark. But there is one thing that hasn't changed: his connection to the land, to the animals, to the very spirit of Heartland. And he realizes that if he wants to rebuild his life here, he needs to start with what he knows best. So he throws himself into work, helping with the horses, fixing fences, doing whatever he can to prove that he belongs here. And slowly, little by little, things begin to shift. One afternoon, as Ty finishes tending to one of the horses, he notices Lindy watching him from a distance. She's curious but hesitant, as if trying to understand who this man really is. He doesn't approach her. He doesn't want to push. Instead, he simply smiles and continues working, hoping that one day she'll trust him enough to come to him on her own. Amy watches the scene from the porch, her heart heavy with conflict. She sees the effort Ty is making, the patience he's showing, and for the first time since he returned, she wonders, can she ever let him back in? Not just for Lindy, but for herself. The thought terrifies her, because if she lets him in again and he breaks her heart a second time, she doesn't know if she'll survive it. But something inside her whispers that maybe, just maybe, some things are worth the risk. Amy stands at the edge of the paddock, watching as Ty works with one of the horses. It's an old routine, one that once brought them together, built a love story stronger than words. But now, it feels different. There's a weight in the air, a hesitation that wasn't there before. Ty moves with patience and confidence, his hands steady, his voice soothing. It's like nothing has changed. And yet, everything has. Lindy watches too, standing just a few feet away from her mother. She's been observing Ty from a distance, studying him the way she studies new horses, cautious but curious. Slowly, she takes a small step forward, then another. Amy holds her breath, afraid to interrupt the moment. Ty notices Lindy approaching but doesn't turn to face her. Instead, he keeps working, letting her make the choice to come closer. Finally, Lindy speaks. Her voice is soft, hesitant. "Did you really miss me?" Amy feels her heart tighten. This is the moment she's been dreading and hoping for all at once. Lindy is opening the door, offering Ty a chance. And now, it's Amy's turn to decide whether she can do the same. That night, as the ranch settles into quiet, Amy finds herself standing outside the barn, lost in thought. She hears footsteps behind her. Ty. He stops a few feet away, waiting. "Lindy's giving me a chance," he says softly. "But what about you, Amy?" She exhales, crossing her arms, trying to hold herself together. "You left, Ty. You left when I needed you most." "I know," he says, "and I'll regret it for the rest of my life. But I came back. I came back because I love you, because I love Lindy, and because I want to fix what I broke." Amy looks at him, searching for any sign of hesitation, any sign that this is just temporary. But all she sees is the man she fell in love with, the man who, despite everything, still knows her better than anyone else. Tears burn at the corners of her eyes. "I don't know if I can go through this again," she whispers. "I don't know if I can trust you not to leave." Ty steps closer, his voice raw with emotion. "Then don't trust my words. Trust my actions. Let me prove to you that I'm here to stay." For the first time since he returned, Amy feels something shift inside her. The pain is still there, the wound's still fresh, but so is the love. And maybe, just maybe, it's not too late. As the first rays of morning light break over the Heartland ranch, Amy makes a decision. She won't give Ty an easy road, but she won't shut him out either. Some things are worth fighting for. And this is worth everything. Share your thoughts in the comment section and subscribe our channel for more Heartland Season 19 updates. Thank you.